So based on the previous concept of moving the label, I will just explain very quickly by taking the same code. The program or the problem statement for BCA students. Here is the journal program. This is the journal program for BCA students. Program to display the message welcome to Visual Basic in a label box. We have to display welcome to Visual Basics on the label box. The label should scroll from right to left. In the previous example, we have scrolled the label from left to right, but here we have to scroll from right to left in the reverse order. Fine, this is the problem statement. We'll see. I will start the application. I will take the same code. Okay, so what particular objects I have to take? This is a standard exe project form designer window. First take the first, that is control called one of the command button to start, and second command button to stop scrolling. One is to start scrolling, second one is to stop scrolling. Then I will take one label. This label has to scroll, so I will set the label somewhere here. Okay, and then I will take the timer here, because based on the timer it has to move. Based on the time interval it has to move. Only these many components are required here. This is the your first design, window design. I will change the properties. For this form I will change the name of the form as FRM scrolling, and caption as scrolling from right to left. Scrolling from right to left. Okay, only these two properties I will change as of now. Then for the first command button I will change the name of the command button as cmd start. Then I will change the caption of the command button as start. Then for the other command button name I will just set it to cmd stop, to stop the label movement or scrolling of the label. Then caption I will set it to stop stop. Fine. Next, for this label I will change the properties. Label name I will set it to lbl text. lbl text. Then I will change the caption of this label as welcome to, as in your problem statement they have mentioned to give the label of the that is label caption as welcome to Visual Basics. So I will just give the caption as welcome to Visual Basic, and I will just increase the width of this label. Okay, fine. So next control, that is timer. For the timer, okay, for the timer I will change enable property and set it to false, because if it is equal to true, if enabled equal to true, then when I run the application it will start implementing, the application will start executing the, that is timer event immediately. Because if the enable property of the timer is true, then immediately when the application is started it will execute the set of code which we have written for the timer event. So what happens, only when I click on the start button the timer has to be enabled, and if I click on the stop button it has to be disabled. So what I will do, for the initial, for the startup I will just change the enable property and set it to false, because initially when the application is started the particular timer must be disabled. Only when I click on the start button it has to be enabled. So first I will set it to false. You have to change these properties and you have to list them out in the properties table. Next, see, in the problem statement the label box should scroll from right to left. See, I will set 1 second time interval. For every 1 second it has to scroll. Fine. So for setting 1 second time interval, the interval property of this label, either you can change in the, that is form designer window, here also, here only, that is properties window, or you can write or you can change in the code window also at the runtime. Okay, better I will change the property of this interval, that is timer interval, in the code window only. Fine. Now we have to write the code. So already we have discussed this one. When I click on the start button, it has to be, the timer has to be enabled. So what I have to write here, timer 1, because I have not changed the name of the timer. Let the name be timer 1 itself. Timer 1 dot enabled equal to true on click of start command button. Then for the stop command button, it has to be disabled, means enabled should be equal to false. So timer 1 dot enabled equal to false. Next, we have to write the code for the, that is, timer event, because see, when I run the application, if I click on this, the timer is started here, it is enabled here. But as we have not written any code for the timer event, it is not appearing here. The action is not performing here. Okay, so when I click on the stop, the timer has disabled here. Enable is set to false. But we cannot see the difference here. We have to write the code for the timer event. So double click on this timer. For the timer, when the timer starts, what I will do, I will just set the interval property of the timer to some interval 1 second. So how can I set the interval property? Timer 1 dot interval, sorry, not index, interval dot interval equal to what value? 1 second means in terms of milliseconds it is going to be 1000. Fine. Then after setting that, we have to, the label has to move from left property to, that is, we have seen in the previous example, from left to right side. But now we have to, whether we have to decrease the twips or increase the twips. If you just add the twips, then from left to right side it will move. So we have to decrease, we have to, that is, subtract the twips. Just observe here, what is the name of the label? What is the name of this label? LBL text. So here LBL text dot left equal to LBL text dot left. If you just add plus, if you just give the value here plus a twip value, plus 100, 200 twips. So now for that, if you add plus some twips here, that is 100, then what will happen? The label is going to, that is, the label's left property is going to increase. That is, if the label is at this side, it will increase for every second. That is, right side it will move. So now we have to move left side, from right to left side. So what we have to do, we have to, that is, subtract the value, that is left value in terms of pips. So minus 100. Now if you just run the application, see, start, I will just increase here, start, just I will show you. See, what is the interval we have set it to? So what I will do, I will just delete this code interval property. I will set it to in the form designer window only, and set the interval to 1 second, that is 1000 millisecond, and run the application. Start button. See, for every second it is moving at the left side. Okay, but what we have to do, we have to confirm with the width of this window. Okay, so what I will do, so when it completes here, again it has to start from this side, right side. Fine, but here it is not starting. Okay, because we have not written the condition there. So what I will do, if label 1 sorry, what is the name of the label? LBL text. LBL text dot LBL, it is okay. LBL text dot left equal to, or I will give just less than or equal to, less than or equal to, let's give some value. For example, 40. Okay, 40 means it is at the minimum, very slightly here at the end. Okay, at the very left edge. Or you can give, instead of 40, you can give 0 also. No problem. If it is less than or equal to 0, then what has to be done? Then where the label has to start again? The label has to start from this edge, right edge of the window. Okay, we don't know where the right edge. If you increase the window size up to here, it will be the right edge here. Or if you set it to maximum, then this would be the right edge. Okay, so how can we set the right edge? That is using the form width property. What I will do, label 1 dot left is equal to, what is the name of the label? Sorry, LBL text dot width is equal to, left is equal to, sorry, LBL text dot left is equal to what? Form name dot width. So based on the form width, it has to, the label left property has to be set. So form name, that is form name is, I have taken form scrolling, FRM SCROLLING, scrolling. Or just you can just say, instead of writing the form name, me dot width. When I run the application here, just observe here. When I click on start, it has started. See, block if without end if is started, but if has to be closed here. Stop the application, close if using end if statement. Run the application. Start. See, it has started moving from here, and again it appeared at the right side. Yes, it is working fine. But what I will do, I will just increase the speed. So how to increase the speed? Instead of 1 second, you can just decrease the time interval. So what I will do, in this property time interval, I will set it to, that is 200 milliseconds. And when I run the application, if I start, see, for every 200 milliseconds, the level is scrolling. It is scrolling how many tweets? Only the difference is 100 tweets it is getting minus for every 200 milliseconds. See, if I just change this one, instead of 100, if I give just give you 500, then just observe the difference here. The gap between it is going to change. See, it is changing very quickly. Means the gap between one label to next label is very large compared to previous one, because here we had given 500 pips. If you give, instead of 500, 4000 pips, then for every 4000 the label will appear. Every 4000 pips gap the label will appear. Start. See, you can decrease the time interval so that you can easily read the label. Fine. Now one more thing, I will just set it to 100 itself. Okay, now when you run the application, either you can just increase this one or you can just maximize this one. It works fine because we have written the code based on the width of the form. But here, initially where the label is appearing, it is appearing somewhere here. If you want this label to appear here, then what you can do, at the start, CMD start, click here. For the click event, what you can do, you can set the label LBL text dot left is equal to me dot form name, or you can just use me dot width. Now observe here, when you run the application, it will be here only. Okay, or you can set it to somewhere here. But when you click on start, it will start from this end. That is width. See, it will start from this end only. Okay, fine. So this is your journal program. This is your journal program. You can just increase the width or increase the width of the form. It will anyway work. See, it will work. So this is the journal program to scroll the label from right to left. And when I click the stop button, it will stop and it stays there itself. So this is the code. Just you can screenshot this one. So for BCA students, this is one of the journal program, your 19th journal program. Fine. Okay. Thank you.